is Erica Exton. Her advisors are Professor Janet Van Hel and Professor Shelley Sandberg. She went to Radboud University in Nijmegen. Her majors are linguistics and communication science and disorders, and a minor in math. And she's going to be talking to us about concreteness effects in lexical decision and semantic judgment processing in bilingual.
So thank you. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about the concreteness effect. So the concreteness effect, very generally, is that concrete words, which are typically described as words that have a physical referent and can be experienced through the senses, are processed more quickly and more accurately than abstract words are, which are words that refer to a concept or an idea rather than a physical referent. And this has been described using two different theories, one of which is the dual coding theory, which says that there are two independent but connected ways that words can be described. So this is through visual imagery and also through verbal associations. So concrete words can be understood through both of these systems, whereas abstract words are only encoded through verbal associations, which can describe why it takes longer for abstract words and why they can be less accurate. And then there's also the context availability theory, which says that when you're trying to understand a word that's given to you without context, you add contextual information that you already know about the word. So concrete words, it's typically easier to retrieve this contextual information from memory than it is for abstract words. So that can also describe why the behavioral concreteness effect occurs. There has also been some information from ERP studies about the concreteness effect. These have shown that abstract words typically show a greater N400 component than concrete words do, and because the N400 is related to difficulty of semantic processing, this makes sense because it's harder to pull together all the information you have about abstract words because you only have verbal associations and because it's harder to retrieve that contextual information. Behavioral information has been found for bilinguals and for monolinguals for the concreteness effect, but ERP studies have really only been done for monolinguals. So my study was a behavioral and ERP, however, I'll only be talking about the reaction time and accuracy information today. So the main questions I had for the behavioral information are whether behavioral responses support the concreteness effect for two different tasks, a lexical decision task and a semantic association task. And I will be focusing on my participant group, young adult, healthy Dutch-English bilinguals. However, this is part of an overarching study where we are also testing young adult, healthy English monolinguals, older adult, healthy English monolinguals, and older adult English monolinguals who have aphasia. So my predictions for the behavioral responses of my Dutch-English bilinguals are that they will show a behavioral concreteness effect in the lexical decision task and in the semantic association task, but that it will be greater in the semantic association task because that task naturally forces semantic knowledge and semantic activation, whereas lexical decision task does not do that as much. So again, I tested 24 young adult healthy Dutch-English bilinguals. They were highly proficient. They rated themselves an average of 7.72 out of 9 on their proficiency. Okay, so they participated in two tasks, as I said. One of them was a lexical decision task, where they saw 232 letter strings. Half of them were real English words, and half of them were non-words in English. And they had to decide, is this letter string a real word in English? Everything they did happened in English, their second language. So examples for these words in the lexical decision task for abstract would be something like attention, it's a concept, an idea. For concrete, spoon, you can see a spoon, it exists. And then a non-word would be something like bulbs. And then for the semantic association task, they saw 320 pairs of real English words, one at a time, and then they had to decide, are the meanings of these two words related in some way? And there were two types of relationships we were looking at. Words that related by association and words that were related by similarity. Association means that the words contribute to the same context. such as clue mystery for abstract words, or ship C for concrete words. Words that are related by similarity are words that are either part of the same taxonomic category for the concrete words, such as hand, foot, or words that are synonyms or near synonyms for the abstract words, such as aid, help. And I had an equal number of related words as unrelated words, so diversity romance or beetle sleigh. Their meanings have nothing to do with each other. So I'll start by talking about my behavioral results for a lexical decision. I expected that I would find significant differences between the abstract and concrete words in reaction time and accuracy, and I did not. There is a slight difference, as you can see here. So there's a little bit, there's something going on, but that's not significant at all. Luckily though, I did find some actual concreteness effects in the semantic association task. And remember, I said before, I predicted that the concreteness effect would be stronger in semantic association than in lexical decision, and that did play out. So over in the reaction time data, you can see that the concrete words overall are faster than the abstract words are. In addition, the associated words, which are in red, are faster than the similar words are in blue. And in reaction time, there was no interaction between the relationship and the concreteness. And then in accuracy, again, I found that my concrete words were more accurate than my abstract words overall, and that the associated words, again, words that are part of the same context, are more accurate than my similar words. But I only found that for the words that are abstract. This is interesting. One of the predictions that I made for the semantic association task based on a previous study was that associated words in abstract would be preferred over similar, but for concrete, similar would be preferred over associated. And I did find that to be true for the abstract words in the accuracy, but not for, I didn't find the opposite effect. So associated was more preferred than similar. Similar was never preferred over associated. So I found that to be interesting. So summary of what we've learned so far. I did not find a significant concreteness effect in lexical decision. Lexical decision was a significantly easier task than semantic association was, and I did find the concreteness effect in semantic association. I then looked within my lexical decision data at the self-rated proficiency of my participants, and I found that for the abstract words, as their self-rated proficiency increased, they were better. They had a faster reaction time and higher accuracy. However, nothing really changed with their responses to the concrete words as their proficiency increased. So that could show that there was more activation going on for my more proficient bilinguals. So things I'm going to do in the future for this study, I will be analyzing my ERP data. Again, I predict a stronger N400 for the abstract words as compared to the concrete, for the semantic association task as preferred to the lexical decision, and for the more proficient bilinguals as compared to the less proficient bilinguals. And we'll also be looking at the other participant groups I mentioned earlier. So I'd just like to thank everybody for their wonderful experience. I had a great time in the Netherlands. It was my first time going abroad. I learned a lot. It was a wonderful experience.
We have time for questions.
Yeah.
All right. Erica, so why do you think you did not find the concreteness effect?
In the lexical decision task? I think that part of it has to do with, we don't know for sure whether the bilinguals knew the words that I was presenting to them. They were highly proficient, but we can't know that for sure. It also could have something to do with their proficiency. Like I mentioned, yeah, they might just not have been activated the same way.
Mm-hmm. So maybe the ERP
I'm hoping that
help you clarify.
There might be something underlying going on that doesn't show in the behavioral data.
Yeah, one possibility for that is that lower proficiency individuals have seen that it's a word, but they don't know what it means.
Yeah.
So they can do the task, words are hard. So they all know. They can do the lexical decision task without necessarily activating the brain.
Exactly.
Right, that would be really cool.
Yeah. And just to add to that, so this was also the late response task. So they first saw the word and then they recorded their EEG, and then it's only later that they responded. So the time window of response is really narrow. So you may have already sort of lost your concreteness effect earlier in the process. So my prediction is it will appear in the earpiece.
And if I could just say something, this graph was created by Erica because she went to Clara Cohen's class on R, and this is what came out of that class. I mean, there is still more happening, but I just had to get that. Any other questions? Thank you very much.